It was 11:51 p.m. when the text message lit up my phone. It was from my mother, Susan. 4 lines that felt like a verdict. We've discussed it as a family. You've chosen to abandon your brother. You are no longer welcome. Don't call this number again. I just stared at the glowing blue bubble my breath caught in my chest. It didn't feel real. Then, seconds later, as I was still trying to process the words, a second notification popped up right below her text. My brother, Ryan, had hearted the message. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. I didn't cry. I didn't text back. Why? The old Jenna would have. The old Jenna would have felt that cold, familiar panic, that desperate need to apologize for a crime she didn't commit. But staring at that heart reaction from Ryan, something else settled over me. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. Clinical. It was 3 a.m. I opened my laptop. The click of the trackpad was the only sound in the dark apartment. First, the Verizon website. The family plan. I'd been paying it for 6 years. I logged in. 3 lines listed under mine. Susan, Mark, Ryan. I clicked on Ryan's line, the one he used to heart that message. A pop-up asked, "Are you sure you want to suspend this line?" I didn't suspend. I clicked Cancel Line. Reason for cancellation. I typed, "No longer part of the family." Next, my mother, Susan. Click Cancel Line. Next, my father, Mark. Click Cancel Line. I left my line active. The account was in my name after all. Next, Geico. The car insurance. That too nice car my parents drove, the one my dad said they deserved. The one my credit score got them. The one I had to co-sign for. I was listed as the primary policyholder. I navigated to Manage Drivers. Mark, Susan. Click Remove Driver. A warning popped up. This may significantly increase your rate. I clicked Confirm. Click Remove Driver. Click Confirm. Effective immediately. I hoped they'd get the email notification before they tried to drive in the morning. Finally, Amazon Prime. My account, my subscription, the one they used for free shipping almost daily. I went to manage your household. There they were. Susan and Mark. Click. Remove. Click. Remove. I leaned back. The whole process took maybe 12 minutes. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't revenge. It was accounting. I'd been the silent investor in their version of a family, the one who quietly paid the bills, who propped up the fantasy of their perfect life. I wasn't just the scapegoat, I was the foundation. And I had just pulled every single brick. You're probably wondering what kind of person gets disowned by their entire family in a group text at midnight. It started 3 days ago with a phone call from my mother. It was that cheerful, breezy tone she always used when she was about to ask for something big. "Jenna, honey. So Ryan's college send-off is in 2 weeks, and we've finalized the catering. The total is $4,500. She paused. That little gap of silence where I was supposed to jump in and say, "Don't worry, Mom, I'll take care of it." It was a dance we'd done 100 times. But this time, I didn't. I just said, "Mom, I can't." The silence on the other end was instant and cold. "What do you mean you can't?" "I mean, I don't have $4,500 to give you. I have my own." "Don't be selfish, Jenna," she snapped, the cheerfulness gone. "This is for your brother. It's his day." I'm not being selfish, I said, my voice quiet but steady. I have $7,000 saved. Total. It's the down payment for the lease on my bakery space. I signed the papers in 3 weeks. I can't give it to you. The click was so loud it made me flinch. She just hung up. And 3 days later, at 11:51 p.m., I was officially no longer part of the family. You have to understand, in my family, I wasn't the daughter. I was the silent investor. I was the reliable one, the responsible one, the one who worked double shifts at the pastry kitchen since I was 19. I opened the family finance spreadsheet I'd kept for 5 years, my secret ledger of sanity. Line item, Ryan SAT prep course, $5,000. My mother had sworn it was an investment in his future. Line item, Ryan senior trip, $2,000. You never got to go on one, honey, she'd said. Don't you want him to have that? Line item, monthly car payment, M&S, $300. For the car I'd stupidly co-signed on the one my credit bought. For years I believed them when they said it was just what families do. I didn't understand the psychology of it then, this concept of financial narcissism. For a parent like my mother Susan, the family isn't a unit of love, it's a family bank. And as the successful child, I wasn't their daughter. I was their primary asset. My brother Ryan was the show asset, the one they poured money into. I was the utility asset, the one they drew money from to fund the show. My dream, the Rising Loaf Bakery, the business plan I'd spent years perfecting, the $7,000 I'd saved by working until my hands ached, that wasn't my success to her. It was just a new line of credit she felt entitled to. My no wasn't a boundary. In her mind, it was a default on a loan. It was a breach of contract. And you don't negotiate with a broken ATM. You just unplug it. I woke up the next morning not to my alarm, but to the sound of my phone vibrating so violently on the nightstand, it sounded like a trapped wasp. It was 8 a.m. The screen was a wall of notifications. 19 missed calls, all from Mom or Dad. A string of texts from Ryan. I clicked his name first. What the fuck? My phone is off. Are you insane? Turn it back on. I have to talk to people. Mom is losing her mind. You're acting crazy. Just pay the bill and stop this. Jenna, answer me. You're being a child. I read the messages one by one and felt nothing, just a quiet confirmation. I didn't reply. Then I saw the voicemail icon. One new message from Susan. I pressed play and put the phone to my ear. Her voice wasn't apologetic. It wasn't sad. It was furious. Jenna Marie, I don't know what childish game you think you're playing. You have embarrassed this entire family. You cut off your brother's phone. You removed us from your insurance. After everything we've done for you, you have created an absolute mess. You call me immediately. The beep of the voicemail ending was loud in the quiet. After everything we've done for you, the words just hung in the air. The old me would have been crushed by the guilt, but the me of today, the one who had clicked cancel at midnight, just saw the transaction. She wasn't angry that I was hurt. She was angry that her asset had stopped performing. I got up. I made coffee. I watched the steam curl up in the morning light. The silence in my apartment felt like a shield. I didn't answer a single text. I didn't return a single call. I was just done. And then around 9:30, an unknown number from an Austin area code rang. I figured it was one of them calling from a borrowed phone, but something told me to answer. Hello? Hi, is this Jenna? A man's voice asked. He sounded professional. This is she. Hi, Jenna. This is Paul from the building management. Your landlord. My stomach dropped. Oh, hi, Paul. Is everything okay with the apartment? The apartment's fine, he said, but he sounded awkward. Look, I just got a very strange call about 10 minutes ago. It was from a woman named Susan. She said she was your mother. The coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. Well, she sounded very concerned, Paul continued. She said you were going through a severe financial crisis and a personal breakdown. She said she was worried I wouldn't be getting the rent check next month. I couldn't speak. The silence stretched. Jenna, he asked, is everything okay? I mean, you've never been late, not once. But she was very convincing. Said you might be unstable and defaulting on your obligations. Unstable. Defaulting. The same words she used in her voicemail. I finally found my voice. It was shaking but cold. Paul, I am so sorry you were bothered. I am not in a financial crisis. There is no breakdown. You will get your rent as you always do. What you heard was a personal family matter. It will not happen again. He let out a breath. Oh, okay, good. Thank God. Honestly, she sounded frantic. All right. Well, as long as you're okay. Sorry to bother you. Thank you, Paul, I said. I appreciate you calling me directly. I hung up the phone, and I sat there shaking, not with anger, not with sadness, with fear, a cold, sharp fear I had never felt before. This wasn't about a $4,500 party anymore. This wasn't about a phone bill. She had tried to make me homeless. She had weaponized my landlord. She had tried to plant a seed that I was unstable and financially irresponsible, all to create leverage, all to get me to crawl back to beg for forgiveness, to pay the $4,500. She was willing to destroy my housing, my credit, my reputation, the very foundation I needed to sign the lease for my bakery, all to win. The family drama was over. This was something else. This was war. My clarity from the night before wasn't just a feeling. It was a survival instinct. If she was willing to call my landlord, what else was she willing to do that I didn't know about? What other help had she given me? What other messes had she created? I went back to my laptop. I didn't open my banking app. I didn't open my email. I opened my web browser, and I typed in pull full credit report, all 3 bureaus. I paid the $29.99. I filled in my social security number, my address, my date of birth. A pit formed in my stomach. The anger was gone, replaced by something much colder, much heavier. The page began to load, a little circle spinning, retrieving your file. I stared at the loading bar, and I waited. The report loaded. Section 1, personal information. Correct. Section 2, revolving credit. My Capital One card balance 0. Correct. Section 3, installment loans. My old student loans almost paid off. Correct. And then Section 4, new accounts and recent inquiries. I scrolled and I stopped. My heart didn't just drop, it evaporated. Apex Finance. I'd never heard of them. Type personal loan. Date opened 3 weeks ago. Balance $15,000. $15,000. I couldn't breathe. The room started to get small. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a mix-up. This was impossible. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely click the link to the lender's portal. I found the inquiry, downloaded the loan documents, and there it was. All my information, my name, my address, my social security number, all used to apply for a high-interest personal loan. I scrolled to the signature page, my vision blurring. Jenna, last name, an electronic signature, a sloppy forgery of a life I was trying to build. I felt sick, like I was going to throw up the coffee I'd just drank. My mother. She didn't just try to make me look unstable to my landlord. She had become me. She had stolen my name, my future, to fund a party for my brother. I was ready to close the laptop. I was ready to just break. But then my eye caught something on the last page of the file. It was a scanned document, page 12 of 12. Notarization and acknowledgement. I zoomed in. There, in the bottom right corner, was an embossed seal stamped in black ink. It was official. It was legal. And I could read the name clearly. Mark Last. My last name, Notary Public State of Texas, followed by his commission number, a number I knew by heart because he was so proud of it. That's when the floor didn't just drop out. The whole building fell. It wasn't just my mother. My father. My quiet just wants to keep the peace, father. He hadn't just known about the fraud. He hadn't just allowed it. He had stamped it. He had taken his professional license, his legal authority as an officer of the state, and he had used it to certify a forgery. He had actively, willingly, legally participated in the theft. I finally understood the psychology of the enabler. It's a quiet kind of evil. We always focus on the narcissist, the loud, destructive one, like my mother Susan. But the enabler is the one who holds the victim down. My father Mark wasn't a neutral party. His silence, his willful blindness wasn't weakness. It was a choice. It was an act of profound violence. He had chosen to sacrifice his daughter to appease his wife. He had chosen to destroy my future to avoid a fight in his living room. He didn't just let my mother light the match. He handed her the gasoline and the notary seal to make it all look legal. I looked at that seal on the screen. The sickness vanished. The fear vanished. And something cold and hard and sharp settled in its place. I wasn't just dealing with a narcissist anymore. I was dealing with a conspiracy. I closed the laptop. I picked up my phone. I wasn't calling a lawyer. Not yet. I was calling my mother, and I was setting a trap. I called them. I told them we needed to meet to talk things over. I chose a Denny's, 2 p.m., on a Tuesday, neutral ground. Public, the kind of place with sticky tables and bad lighting where you can't scream without making a scene. They walked in 15 minutes late, like they were doing me a favor. Susan first wearing her disappointed mother face like armor. Mark trailed behind her, looking at the floor, already defeated. Ryan shuffled in last headphones on, already annoyed. They slid into the booth across from me. Susan didn't even look at the menu. Jenna, this is ridiculous. You dragged us all the way out here. Just tell us you're going to fix the mess you made. I didn't move. I just looked at her. My voice came out steady cold, colder than I thought I was capable of. We're here to talk about the $15,000 loan. Susan actually scoffed, a little breathy laugh of disbelief. Oh, that honey I was helping you. You need credit to get that little bakery of yours started. I was just building your file. It's family money, Jenna. It's for Ryan. You've always been so dramatic. Family money, I repeated. The words felt strange in my mouth. So you forged my signature for family money. Don't use that word, she snapped. It's not forgery when it's family. I turned my head just slightly to my father. And you, Dad, you notarized it. You used your state commission to certify a document I never saw. Was that for family too? Mark flinched like I'd hit him. His face went pale ashy. Jenna, sweetheart, he stammered. Your mother, she just got carried away. We can fix this. Privately. You. Susan's voice started to rise, her face turning red. How dare you talk to your father that way? After everything we have given you, this is the thanks we get. You're ungrateful. I held up one hand, not in anger, just a simple, quiet gesture. Stop. And she did. The shock of me interrupting her tirade was enough to silence her just for a second. I didn't call you here to negotiate, I said, my voice cutting through the hum of the diner. I'm not here to fix this privately. I reached into my bag and pulled out 3 manila folders. I slid them one by one across the sticky table. I called you here to inform you. I tapped the first folder. This is a copy of the police report I filed this morning with the Austin Police Department for felony identity theft. It has your name on it, Susan. Her eyes went wide. I tapped the second folder. This is the sworn notarized affidavit that I have already faxed to Apex Finance. It details the fraud, includes the forged signature, and disputes the $15,000 loan. They are opening an investigation. Jenna, no, my father whispered, his hands shaking. I looked right at him, and I slid the third folder. And this one is for you, Dad. This is a copy of the formal complaint I filed an hour ago with the Texas Secretary of State, the Notary Public Division, regarding felony notary fraud. They were very interested to hear about your commission number and this fraudulent loan document. There was no sound, just the clatter of plates from the kitchen. Susan's mouth opened and then closed. No sound came out. The color had drained from her face. Ryan, for the first time, had his headphones off and was staring at me, his eyes wide with a fear I'd never seen before. My father. He just looked down at the folder with his name on it. He looked broken. I stood up. The booth creaked. I pulled a $5 bill from my pocket and dropped it on the table for my coffee. This wasn't a discussion, I said quietly. This was a notification. I turned and walked out. The bell on the diner door jingled and the bright Texas sun hit my face. I didn't look back. The fallout was systematic. The $15,000 loan was voided by Apex Finance within 72 hours, citing conclusive evidence of fraud. They didn't just cancel my debt. They opened their own case against Susan. The complaint I filed with the Texas Secretary of State was even faster. My father, Mark, was subject to an immediate emergency suspension of his notary license pending an investigation. The investigation concluded he was guilty of gross negligence and official misconduct. He was permanently stripped of his commission. His firm, the one he'd worked at for 20 years, fired him the next day for breach of ethical conduct. My mother, Susan, Her punishment wasn't legal. It was social. The dream of the perfect family, the one she was willing to commit fraud to protect, evaporated. The $4,500 party never happened. Ryan's college send-off was a silent trip to the dorms in a car they could no longer afford the insurance on. The perfect family image was shattered. I didn't hear from them again. I just moved on. 6 months later, I stood in an empty storefront in East Austin. The air didn't smell like old coffee. It smelled like new paint and drywall dust. It was quiet. In my hand, I held a set of new shiny keys, the ones to the Rising Loaf Bakery. My $7,000 down payment had cleared. The lease was signed. I sat on the floor, opened my laptop one last time. I found the old family finance spreadsheet. All those lines. 5,000 here, 2,000 there, 300 a month. A decade of my life reduced to numbers. I stared at the file for a long time. Then I right-clicked, and I hit delete. I closed the laptop. The sun was streaming through the new glass, hitting the spot where the ovens would go. It's a strange thing to realize you've spent your whole life trying to earn a seat at a table that was never meant for you. And if you're watching this, and you've ever felt like the scapegoat or the black sheep or the one who just never quite fit, I want to say something to you. That feeling, that sense of being on the outside, that is not your weakness. It is your perspective. You weren't on the outside because you were less. You were on the outside because you were different. You were the one who could see the game for what it was. They don't kick you out because you're failing. They kick you out because you've stopped playing along. So let them have their broken table. Let them have their empty kingdom. Your rejection isn't a punishment. It's a release. It's the moment you're finally given the permission and the space to stop trying to fix their world and to start building your own.